Good morning, mathematicians.
Good morning.
I need your help to solve a problem today. Can you help me?
Yes.
All right, before we start, let's think about what we think about every time we start a math lesson, and that's our favorite things, our SMPs. Let's go over our standards of mathematical practice. Number 1.
Don't give up.
Number 2, I can think about numbers in many ways. Number 3, I can explain it to others. Number 4, I can show my work. Number 5, math tools. Number 6, I can check
My word.
Number 7, I can use what I already know. And number 8, I can discover shortcuts, right? Find new ways to solve a problem. Thank you. All right, and using those standards of mathematical practice, we're going to look at our standards today. Today, we're going to work with numbers up to 120 to solve the problem. You're going to have to read them, write them, and use them in different ways, representing with math drawings and different things you'll see in just a minute. And the other thing we're really going to be working on is creating and collecting data and using counting sets, okay? So those are things I want you to be thinking about as we work through this problem. I want you to think back. Earlier this year, we took a field trip. We took a fancy bus, and we went all the way to Zoo Atlanta. At Zoo Atlanta, you saw monkeys.
Yes.
With a quiet thumb, if you know what monkeys like to eat, show me. Quiet thumb. Oh, lots of people following directions. Thank you. Tavaria, what do monkeys like to eat?
Banana.
Bananas. And that's what we're going to be using in our problem today. These monkeys like to eat bananas. But zoologists, like other professions, need to use math every day at work. And they have a problem that they need our help with to feed these monkeys. All right, monkeys like to eat an even number of bananas for lunch. And each monkey must receive the same number of bananas. Even number. What is an even number? Mr. Tanner.
It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Right, those are examples of even numbers, but an even number is, remember our even Steven has a 0, a 2, a 4, 6, or 8 in the ones place. The last number in that ones place, that's what we're looking at with place value to determine if the number is even or odd. So if, like Mr. Tanner said, it has a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8 in the ones place, it is an even number. So let's listen to our problem. Are you ready? Monkeys like to eat an even number of bananas for lunch, and each monkey must receive the same number of bananas. They never eat more than 5. How many do they never eat more than?
5.
5. Their bellies are too small. The zookeeper needs to figure out how to share a basket of bananas for the lunch. Show different ways the zookeeper can share the bananas with 8 monkeys. How many monkeys?
8.
So what I want you to do is use this information to turn and talk with your math partner. Go. Turn and talk. Come up with a plan. How can you represent and solve this problem? When you finish, get a paper. Can I be your partner?
If we have 8, and then we give all the 4, they'll be even, because that'll be 8.
If you have a plan, you and your partner go record it. Use math drawings, numbers, number sentences. How can you represent your information? You can both do it. Yes. Go. All right. So if they each have 2, how will we show that on our plan? How can we explain that to the zoologist if they each have two?
The zoologist can cut.
Alright, so here's our paper. How can we use math drawings and numbers and number sentences to explain it?
Do we have to get two papers?
Nicholas and Bryson, do you have your paper to write out your plan?
Not yet. Can we write 10?
Alright, let's go write our plan.
I'm going to get my pencil.
Alright, it seems like everybody has their plan and is working with their partner to represent. Remember to use pictures, words, numbers to prove your math thinking. Nicholas, right here, buddy. Bryson, right here.
I can't find my pencil.
There's one right here for you to use. Right here, please. Using the plan that you and your partner talked about, use pictures, words, and numbers to prove your math thinking.
Can we do 10 and 1?
I would love if you showed me different places how you solved with your math thinking. Remember, you'll have to explain it to others. There are 8 monkeys. They can't eat more than 5 bananas. What did you and your partner discuss? When you're finished, we will go to this page and share our math thinking. What's wrong, Mr. Danner? How can you use pictures to explain your thinking?
I'm just trying to make it,
You're using circles to represent. Tell me what these circles are.
monkeys.
Okay, how would somebody that didn't know the problem know that these circles were monkeys? How could you label that?
4 and 4.
Okay, show me. How many circles do you have here? I see 8. What are the 8 circles for?
Monkeys.
Okay, and how are you going to show how many bananas each monkey has?
2 and 4.
Okay, show me. How are you using pictures to explain your math?
Making like these clothes about monkey and these circles are bananas.
Okay, so these little marks right here are bananas, and these are the monkeys?
Yes.
So how many bananas are each monkey going to have?
4 because that's an even number, 5 not an even number.
Okay, so if 5 is not an even number, do you know what that's called? If it's not even, it's an odd number. Right, it's an odd number. So you're right, 4 is an even number. Keep working. I can't wait to see what you finish with.
Well, I did 8 plus 8. So I mean, you can take care of 2 monkeys to get another, and you can take care of the 2 other monkeys.
So you're right. If there are 8 bananas, they can be shared equally among 2 of those if you're each going to have 4. But right here I see 4 monkeys. How many monkeys are in the zoo? It says there are 8 monkeys. Can you show me more work to show me 8 monkeys?
Okay.
Can you explain this to me? Okay, so you've got a basket of bananas. I like how you remember that from there. What are these circles? Monkeys. Okay, how many bananas are in this basket? Can you think of a way that you can show me how many each of these monkeys gets from this basket? They have to be divided equally, and it has to be an even number, okay? Keep working through your problem. I like how you've started. Hands and eyes. I love walking around the room. I see that many friends remembered how we do math drawings. You just did a quick circle to represent a monkey, and you've already started your problem. That's a great idea to not do a detailed picture when you're working through a math problem, just using a quick math drawing. Keep working. Thank you, mathematicians.
I drew 8 bananas and 8 monkeys, so it'll be equal for the monkeys.
Okay, so you have 8 bananas and 8 monkeys. So each banana would get one. What is 1? Is that an even or an odd number?
Odd.
Ooh, and what were the rules? They had to have how many?
5.
They could have less than 5, but it had to be an even number. So how could you fix this when you went back and checked your work? It's an odd number that you used. How can you make your odd number even?
By adding more bananas.
Okay, keep working. Work through that. That's important. When you go back and check your work, think about all the rules of the math problem.
So it's 8 more bananas. We're supposed to do it on the
You
back.
have how many? 24. So how many will each of them get?
We're supposed to write it
You had 24, and then you had 8. And then bananas here. So how many will get? Represent your thinking.
Miss Granny, where's Marco?
If you finished your math drawing, don't forget to add a number sentence to show your math thinking. How many bananas did you use?
6.
Okay, what was the rule? You can't use more than 5. So how can you take 6 and change it so it's still an even number? 6 is an even number, so you were correct with that. But how can we make that more efficient? You can't use more than 5. Let's think about that. Talk to your partner, because your partner used the number that you guys talked about earlier.
I used in the other monkey 8 too. So I finished mine.
Alright, Mr. Tanner, explain to me what you did here.
I made dots, but then I counted them, and both have 16, and counted them again, so that made like 31.
Okay, let's look at this. So you wrote a number sentence. You said 16 plus 16 equals 31. Can you go back and check your work on that?
I would, but
Let's go back and check again. How can we check?
counted by bending that.
Okay, let's count. Count your... So you're telling me right here is 16,
Yes.
okay? And you're telling me this is 16.
Yeah, I got 16.
Okay, what's 6 plus 6?
13.
Let's count again. 6 plus 6. Take your time. Oops, sorry.
12.
Oh, 12. I like how you started with the biggest number you knew and counted on. That was a good strategy to use that. So, if 6 plus 6 is 12, what number should be here in that ones place?
2.
Right. All right, let's look at what's in our tens place. There's a 1 and a 1. So right now we have 10 plus 10. How many is that?
20.
Okay, so we have 10 plus 10 is 20, but we still have that 10 from the 12, so how many is that?
30.
All right, so what should be in the tens place?
3.
Yep. So what's your number?
32.
Yes, 16 plus 16 is 32. You persevered and worked through that problem. I'm so proud of you for not giving up.
I'm not giving up. Do I make numbers? Do I make words?
Yeah, if you'll use words to explain your thinking when we go to the stage in just a little bit, you will be an excellent example.
And to make...
I'm coming around. I want to hear all my mathematicians' work. I'm seeing numbers and words.
I drew 8 more bananas, so the bananas can get more like...
Okay, so the monkeys now, she has 8 and 8 more. What's 8 plus 8?
That's what that said. 12.
8 plus 8. Don't guess, use a strategy. If you have 8 and you add 8 more, what number is that?
16.
Yes, use a strategy when you can. Guessing is okay when you're doing estimation. Okay, but with math you need to work through your strategy. Okay, don't give up. Work through those strategies. You're right. 8 plus 8 is 16. Perseverance, you're right. We've got to not give up. Okay, so now that you have 16 and you have 8 monkeys, how many bananas do each monkey have? You had 1, and that was an odd number, and you went back and added 1 more. So 1 and 1 more. How many?
2.
Yep, so each monkey has how many bananas?
2.
Right. So can you, on this side, represent that thinking? On the back side, you've done a lot of work. Let's try and add that to the front now. So show me your 8 monkeys and their 2 bananas each. Great job not giving up. Yes, sir.
And I put 4 more to save up if they're hungry anymore.
Oh, so you made a reserve for them. You thought through the problem and thought about another problem that they might have in real life. That's interesting. So how many did you leave? Okay, you left 4. So if I have 4 bananas, see my 4 bananas? 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 8 monkeys. What's going to happen to each of those bananas? They're going to be eaten. But if I have 4 and there's 8 friends, how can I make this 4 stretch to go 8 ways? Add 4 more, and they would all have 1. Yes, that would be in reserve.
I added all the bananas under the monkeys so they won't get mixed up.
I like how you label it. Can you now use words and numbers to show your math thinking? You've used pictures. Add words and numbers. Hands and eyes. In just a few minutes, mathematicians, we're going to go to the stage and share our thinking and ask friends for feedback, okay?
Feedback.
Keep working.
I feedback. I did not get all the one.
You're adding words. I like that.
Why are you doing that?
I like how you're using it to label under each. That's very smart.
No, 2. Yeah, I'll write the first one. Not 20. And my 2's upside down. I know, and this is how you write it. Like 2 sections. I think it's going to be 2 sections. 4 bananas.
Okay, so if they ate that many, that's how it would happen.
I know.
Okay. You say 2 10 and 1 4, so you have 24. And there's 8 monkeys. So this number is even, but when you split it, is the number even? You were thinking about it, I think, a different way. Keep thinking through this problem, okay? Yes. Way to use your resources to spell. All right, hands and eyes, friends. We're going to bring your paper to the carpet, and we're going to have friends come and share their mathematical thinking with other friends. Angie, are you ready?
I'm not.
Bring what you have.
I'm ready.
Think you quietly walk tiptoe like a mouse in the winter field and sit on the carpet, paper in front of you. Have a seat. Oh, my first row is ready. Let me see, is my second row ready? Sandy, bring what you have, love. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming and sitting quietly on the carpet. Angie, if you want to use that chair, honey, you're more than welcome. Alright, thank you to those friends that are sitting quietly in their seats. Crisscross applesauce. Remember that you are the audience for our next presenter, and think about how you would want to be treated if you were up here on the stage. So if you would sit crisscross applesauce, put your hands in your lap, your paper flat on the floor in front of you so it's not a distraction. Yes. Darius wants to turn off the lights so everybody can be up here in the bright lights of the stage. But I'm only going to have time for a few friends to come share on stage. If it's not you today, you'll be able to share later, so don't worry. Right, when you come up here, remember to explain your mathematical thinking. Did you use a picture? Did you use numbers? Did you use words? Tell us how you worked through the process of problem solving and how your information will help. All right, Mr. Tanner, would you like to share first?
I gave all the monkeys 4 bananas, so each set of 4 get 4 and give all them 8. And that's it the same way, and give me 16 plus 16 equal 32. I gave all the monkeys 8. We gave out 4 of them 8.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner. Can I talk about yours a little bit too? All right, Mr. Tanner, may I use your paper? All right, Mr. Tanner worked through a problem. He had a big number where he was adding 2 digits and 2 digits more, and he had to persevere to find that answer and use different strategies. And he went back and checked his work, and then he had to go back and check again and persevere. So let's give a roller coaster to Mr. Tanner. Hands up. Thank you. Great job, Michael. And on the back, you'll see his math drawing. He represented monkeys with a square, and he used 4 dots for each banana that he shared with the monkeys. Is 4 an even or an odd number?
Even.
You're right. 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 are even numbers. Thank you. All right, I'm going to wait. Let me see who's sitting. Crisscross Applesauce ready to be the next presenter on stage. Bryson, if you'll come up.
I drew 4 monkeys each, and I drew the bananas. I drew 2 bananas under the monkeys so they won't get mixed up. And my number was 8 plus 8 equals 16. And then I wrote a statement so we could figure out the answer.
All right, let's give Bryson a roller coaster. Ready? Thank you. All right, hands down. Let's talk about what he did, because you all didn't get to hear his mathematical thinking as you were working on your own problem. He worked so hard. He had it all drawn out, and I went over and he had given each monkey 1 banana. And I said, Bryson, is 1 an even or an odd number? What do you think he said? Odd. It's an odd number. So Bryson had to go back and change his thinking. And remember, they had to do an even number. And I said, what could you do to make one even? And he said, you only had to add one more. 1 plus 1 was 2. And he knew 2 was an even number. So he worked really hard on that problem and went back and he wrote a number sentence, words, and a math drawing. So thumbs up to Bryson. Great job. Lots of you worked really hard and will continue to share your mathematical thinking with others. Great job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job, friends.
Thank you.